All right, let's jump into the undercard. I think the person that stole the whole fight night, not just the undercard, but the whole fight night was Martin Bakole
Yeah.
and that win over Jared Anderson. And I think me and you were together when we sat down with Turkey after the AJ Dubois presser. I invited obviously a few media members to talk to him, and I think we both expressed our concerns about Jared Anderson fighting a Martin Bakole, a 6'5", 6'6", 20-stone wrecking machine, and he is George Foreman 2.0. Like, he's just frightening, and I think Jared Anderson felt the full force of Martin Bakole on Saturday night.
Yeah, it was a very, very rude awakening for Jared Anderson again. Like you say, Bakole is very much a George Foreman personified, physically personified
Yeah.
for our era, where he just stands in front of you, and unless you can shake him off, he is going to stay in front of you, and he's going to walk you down, and he's going to hurt you to head and body, and he's going to wreck your night, which is what he did against Jared Anderson. I'm very pleased to see that he's gone to #1 with the WBA, by the way.
Good.
And he's going to have fights now with the likes of Zhili Zhang, Joseph Parker, Agit Kabayel, and maybe fight for a world title if he can stay around for long enough for the next year and a half. He's a formidable beast. He's a lovely man to know and speak. So I've known him for quite a while. And I was delighted for Billy Nelson, who was very emotional after he won, and pleased for Billy because Billy's a very loyal man. He's been through a lot with Martin Bakole, and they suffered quite a lot after the, I think, was it defeat or draw with Michael Hunter? I think it was a defeat, wasn't it?
Yeah, stoppage.
And they've had to rebuild a lot after that. But he, like you say, he really did steal the night, and America is now scratching its head. People might say, "Oh, it was bad matchmaking." No, people are now scratching their head for where the next big name or very talented American heavyweight is going to come from, because really all the money was in on Jared Anderson doing that. And unfortunately, what looked like an off night against Charles Martin was actually proved to show that he does struggle at world level. And who knows what Jared Anderson can do? Can he come back like Daniel Dubois has done as a young fighter? We are yet to see.
Is it just the case with Americans that they just simply go to basketball or American football? Like, if you are a big 6'7", I don't know, coming up 13, 14, 15 stone, whatever, they look at you, look at your physique, look at your size, and you go and do the field rather than go to the gym.
Yeah, or you go to American football where they earn huge astronomical sums of money and they get great fame and accolades in basketball and American football. I think it's the same of the big Jamaican athletes who aren't fast bowlers anymore, or the big West Indian, I say West Indian, you know what I mean, Caribbean athletes who tend to go to American football or basketball. I know they get knocked around in American football, but you're right, in basketball, who wants to get punched in the face for a living when you can make an amazing living as an athlete? I mean, there were some very, there were the biggest people in the arena on Saturday night were the basketball player Scottie Pippen et al.
Yeah, James Harden.
He's probably in his late 40s now, isn't he? But part of that great side with all the great players from, were they Los Angeles? I think.
No, Chicago Bulls.
Chicago Bulls. Sorry, of course they were.
Michael
Chicago
Jordan
Bulls.
and team. Yeah.
But I had a quick word with him on Saturday night. I didn't have a clue who I was, but I knew he was straight away with that nose and 6'10" or whatever he is. Yeah, it's Deontay Wilder passing the torch to Jared Anderson. It hasn't been a great time for American heavyweights right now, and who knows where the next one is coming from.
Yeah, I think the next one is going to take a while to come. Honestly, watching the Olympics as well, there isn't any super heavyweights or anyone coming through on the American side. Very quickly, before we wrap this section, obviously Jarrell Miller got a draw, a very controversial draw against Andy Ruiz. I think everyone had Jarrell Miller winning that fight. Andy Ruiz, a couple of years out the ring, broke, I think it was his right hand as well. Yeah. He showed the crowd it, and it did look gruesome. There's now a lot of talk, I don't know where it's coming from, of Jarrell Miller potentially versus Derek Chisora, which is crazy. But Jarrell Miller won that fight by a few rounds.
I agree. I thought he won very convincingly. I don't understand. He was pressurizing all night. And I had him winning by 3 rounds. I didn't see a draw in any way, shape, or form. I thought so. By the way, Jose Valenzuela put in a tremendous performance against Isaac Cruz. I think he's a coming force as well. I think he will be a terrific fighter. He showed a lot of skills against quite a limited. I picked Pitbull Cruz to win, but Valenzuela really impressed me, and I thought the Saudi Arabian fighter
Ziad Amayuf.
Ziad Amayuf. I thought he won as well. By the way, very convincingly. I was pleased with the way Andy Cruz turned his fight around as well after a couple of torrid rounds, difficult rounds rather, and he looks to be a great talent at lightweight.
Yeah, Shakur Stevenson was ringside watching that very closely. Him and Vasily Lomachenko got into it as well, which was interesting. Which is
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I mean, let's do it. But yeah, no, honestly, fascinating night, and I think Riyadh season LA was a huge success. I think the whole week was incredible, and I think if you are Gia in Turkey, you're going to be thinking, okay, tick 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 tick. Let's steamroll now towards London, and let's make that the best show and the biggest show of the year.